Okay, so welcome to the first YouTube video of the year, and this is for our sections 1 through 1-3 quiz that you're having on Monday, September 9th. So hopefully you're here, you're ready to do some problems, and you'll bring it in for bonus. Okay, so here's problem number 1. And again, remember you can pause this video at any time. So if I'm going too fast, just pause it. So problem number 1 says order these numbers on a number line, and we have the numbers 3/2, -4/5, and negative radical 8. So the thing here is that you need all of these numbers in decimal form to compare them. Okay, so that's our first goal. We're going to get them in decimal form. So this number, 3/2, if you divide 3 by 2, you get 1.5. Okay, then -4.5 is already in decimal form, so that's okay. And then radical 8, negative radical 8. Well, that's going to be around -2.8. Okay, it's negative because of the negative in front, so it's roughly -2.8. So now we have to order these three numbers on a number line. Well, let me draw my number line. My number lines are a little suspect, so I can't do straight lines that good on this thing yet. So there's my number line. So I need first -4.5, and let me make a number line a little bit bigger just in case I need. That -4.5 is big. -4.5 is between -5 and -4. And there it is right there. -4.5. Then the next one's -2.8. Well, that is between -3 and -2. Closer to -3. And that's negative radical 8. And then the last one is 3/2, which is over here between 1 and 2. And here, right smack dab in the middle, is 3/2. Okay, so hopefully you were able to see these three decimals and order them on a number line correctly. Okay, so here's the next problem. It's a property idea. So this problem says show the identity property of addition. Okay, that's what I want you to do. Give me an example. Well, we need to know that the identity property says that if I take a number, let's call it x, and I want to keep the identity the same, so what can I add to x to keep it x? Well, that is, of course, 0. Okay, so this is what the identity property says. That's this guy. So this guy right here is right there. So I want an example. I want a concrete example. We'll pick a number for x. My favorite number is 3. 3 plus 0 equals 3. And there's a great example of the identity property of addition. Okay, here's the next problem. We want to simplify, and this is all about exponents. So in part A, in part A, we have -5 in parentheses squared, and in part B we have -5 no parentheses squared. Well, we need to remember that being squared means I multiply that base by itself 2 times. So the base is -5 because the parentheses are around the negative. So -5 times -5. A negative times a negative is a positive, and 5 times 5 is 25. Now over here in part B we have a -5, but it is not in parentheses being squared. So here the only thing being squared is the 5. So the negative is out in front, and then we just do 5 times 5. Well, the negative stays out in front, and 5 times 5 is 25. So again, a lot of times your calculator leads you in the wrong direction. So don't always trust your calculator. Think about what exponents are and do them yourselves. Okay, so here's our next problem. It's going to be an order of operations problem. Okay, so here's the problem. 3 times the quantity of -6 plus 5. That's to the 5th power plus 10. Well, order of operations say do the parentheses first. So we do 3 stays out in front. I'm going to leave the parenthesis. -6 plus 5. That's 6 negatives and 5 positives. That leaves me with 1 negative after all the canceling is done. That's to the 5th power plus 10. Then we do exponents next. Do not multiply this. We're going to do the exponents. Well, -1 is in parentheses. Okay, I'm going to do it over here. So -1 to the 5th is -1 times -1 times -1 times -1 times -1. 5 negative ones. So 2 negatives become positive. So that's a positive, that's not a positive. That's a positive, that's a positive. But this negative has no other negative to turn positive with. So the first 4 cancel, but the last one stays. And then 1 times 1 times 1 times 1 times 1 is 1. That is what negative 1 to the 5th is. It's still negative 1. I'm going to leave the negative 1 in parentheses. So again, the 5th power did not disappear. Negative 1 to the 5th power is negative 1. Then we do the multiplication. 3 times negative 1 is negative 3. Right? Positive times a negative is a negative. And then negative 3 plus 10, that's 3 negatives, 10 positives. That leaves me with 7 positives. On your quiz, you need to show all of your work. Okay, so make sure you do that. Okay, so here is our next problem. We're going to evaluate this expression, x times the quantity of 4 plus y, quantity squared, when x is 4 and y is negative 7. So what it means is plug the numbers in for the variables. So x is 4. 4. So there's my x. Times. Now notice I use parentheses, right? 4 is inside the parentheses. That's from the original problem. Plus, this y is a negative 7. I put that negative 7 in its own little parenthesis. And that's being squared. And now I follow order of operations. So, combine. This right here, this plus and that minus is overall minus. So the 4 out in front remains the same. You can leave the parentheses or not. It doesn't matter. But then this is 4 minus 7. And 4 minus 7 is negative 3 squared. Now we do the exponent first. So I'll do it over here. Negative 3 squared, again, is negative 3 times negative 3. Because of the parentheses, you bring the negative. 2 negatives is a positive, and 3 times 3 is 9. So the 4 is here. The negative 3 squared is a 9 here, and 4 times 9 is 36. Done. Alright, so here's our next problem. It's a word problem. It says you buy a DVD player for $57. You rent movies for $4.28 each. Write an expression to represent the total amount that you spend for the DVD player and renting X movies during the first year. Okay, so let's stop there. Let's do the first part. Okay, so the first part is write an equation. X is your number of movies. Always identify the variable. It's so important in algebra. So you're going to pay $57 for your DVD player. And then here's that keyword each. $4.28 each for each movie. So to that $57 we add $4.28 times the number of movie X. And there's our expression. So then we read further. Evaluate the expression if you rent a total of 65 movies per year. So this means X. Oh, sorry. Let me move back up. This means X is 65. Undo. Sorry. X is 65. So plug in 65 for X. I don't know why my thing keeps moving. I gotta mess with the buttons. Okay, so we do 57 plus 4.28 times 65. And here's our handy dandy calculator. 4.28 times 65. 278.2. So that 57 remains the same, and this is 278.2. Of course, we should know it's 20 cents. Add that to the 57. 335.2. So we add the 0 for 20 cents, and we put a dollar sign. And that's how much you're going to spend in 1 year renting all those movies. Okay, here's our next problem. It's an expression, and we have to identify the parts. And those parts are terms, coefficients, constants, and like terms. So that's what I have listed here on the left. So if I look at this, this says negative 4w plus 9 plus w minus 3w squared. So all of the terms are just the parts listed above. Notice I'm going to put the negatives with the negative terms. So negative 4w, 9w, and negative 3w squared. They're the terms. The coefficients then are the numbers in front of variables. So w is a variable. Negative 4 is the coefficient. 9 has no variable. It's not a coefficient. There's a w. That's a variable. There's a 1 in front of it. And this w squared is a variable. There's a negative 3 in front of it. Constants have no variables. 9 is the only number without a variable. There it is, the 9. And then what are the like terms? There's only one pair of like terms. That is the same variable, same exponent, and that is the negative 4w and the W. They are the only like terms in this problem. Okay, very good. Okay, so here's our next problem. It's going to be a simplifying problem. I forgot my last parenthesis, sorry. So it says negative 12 times n plus 3 times n plus 13. Okay, so this is a distributive problem first. There is a negative 12 here that has to go to the n and the positive 3. Negative 12 times n is negative 12n. And negative 12 times positive 3 is negative 36. That's the first distribution. Then we distribute the positive 3 into the parentheses. Well, that's positive 3 times positive n is positive 3n. Positive 3 times positive 13 is positive 39. And now it's a combining like terms problem. I'll use a different color. Use this red here. The negative 12n and the 3n are like terms. There are negative 12 here. There's positive 3 here. There are more negatives. There are 9 more negatives. Negative 36 here, positive 39 here. There are 36 negatives and 39 positives. That's 3 more positives. And there is your simplified answer. Okay, here's our last problem, problem number 9. It's another word problem. It says you subscribe to a digital cable TV service that also provides access to pay-per-view movies. The monthly fee for the service is $43.49, which includes 3 pay-per-view movies. And this is so key. When you see this includes 3 pay-per-view movies, you need to understand that those are already included. So it's going to affect your variable, okay? Each additional pay-per-view movie costs $3.99. Write an expression for M movies. Okay, let's stop here. M is the number of movies. Okay? So you pay $43.49 every month for this service. Okay? But then you have to also add the $3.99 per movie, per pay-per-view. Per movie. However, this is so important. 3 are included. So from the number of movies, you have to forget about 3 of them. To take away 3 of them, we need to subtract 3 from M and put that in a parenthesis because we want to subtract the 3 from the M first before we start doing the multiplication. Okay? Now, it's probably going to ask you to simplify, so let's simplify. Sorry about that. Undo. So this stays the same. We multiply both by a positive. It's a positive 399, so that's positive 399m. A positive times a negative is a negative, and that's $11.97. So then combine the numbers, so we have 399m, and this is going to be plus, and I'll do my calculator, 43.49 minus $11.97, 31.52, plus 31.52. So there's an expression for the total you're going to buy, the total you're going to spend for buying M movies. Okay, so let me scoot this down just a bit. Okay, and then B, so that was part A. So then B says, well, find the cost for buying 8 movies. Well, if 8 is the number of movies, that's the value of M. So we just plug 8 in for M. So that's $3.99 times 8 plus $31.52. This is $31.92 plus $31.52. That is going to be $63.44. Let me just double check. So I'm not lying to you. $63.44. So that's how much you spend renting 8 movies that month. I'm going to get this jumping thing figured out before the next video. Okay? So hopefully you felt this video was helpful. You paused it when you needed to. You got them all copied down, bring them into class on Monday, and be ready to go for that quiz. Alright, thanks for watching. We'll see you on Monday.